Hey, what is going on, guys? This is SMEB Reviews, and today we are taking a look at the debut album from Camila Cabello. Camila, let's get to it. Camila Cabello is originally from Fifth Harmony, and if you watched my review previously last year, I was not very warm on it. It's kind of right off pop music, and yes, this was after Camila had left, but I've never really been warm on Fifth Harmony. I don't think that they really had too many good songs. Every now and then they might hit a decent song, but for the most part, it was pretty right off pop music that I cared very little about. So I wasn't really expecting much going into this album. I assumed it'd probably be about the same thing. I just thought maybe some of the more annoying voices, the voices that are a little more grating for me from Fifth Harmony may not be there, because I don't think that Camila has a bad voice. I'm kind of lukewarm on her. I think it's alright, but I don't really have a ton of praise for it. But yeah, I thought that this album would not be very good, and honestly, it is decent. It's probably not the best album of all time by any means, but it's decent and a lot better than what I was expecting. Camila seems to have a decent sense of what she's doing. She has a decent voice, and the music actually seems well written. It's fun and lighthearted in some places, and I enjoy it. I like that she kind of takes a more lighthearted approach, and she doesn't take herself as seriously on all these songs. And some of them, yes, she does, but it seems like all the time, like Fifth Harmony especially, every song they are so serious about themselves, and that's not the same with her. She seems to be doing her own thing, and I actually really did enjoy this album. It's not perfect, and I have some songs I definitely do not like, and a lot of them are just that right off pop music, but some of them are actually really good, really catchy, really interesting, and just good songs. Now, after just giving it a little bit of praise, I am going to start off with one absolutely terrible song, Never Be the Same. Yes, honestly, the verses I think are extremely catchy, very well produced, very interesting, and good, fun pop that I actually do enjoy. But then we get over to the chorus, and it's really high pitch. And for some reason, Camila seems to do this thing with her voice, and it makes it sound kind of childish. I can't really describe it, but it gets very breathy. It's very airy in her voice, and it sounds very childish. And so it's really hard to listen to her sing about how comparing love to a drug, which is an absolute cliche that's I'm tired of, but it does take off from the song, but the song's already terrible. That's not the main point of this. It just makes it seem like she's too young to even be feeling these things, and that seems unjust to say because, yeah, she obviously is, but yet hearing her voice, it is still sounds very childish. And when it starts off the album, it's really hard to listen to that and then listen to the rest of the album. Now, I will say that that childish sound rarely pops up throughout the rest of the album. I'd say it's pretty much just in this song, but really, that song, I really do not like it because it has every cliche, and her voice just does not work with that song. And of course, the actual album has a radio edit with this song in it. And while I don't honestly know if it was released on the CD, every MP3 download that I could ever see on Spotify, Apple, anything, it always has the radio edit as the last song, the 11th song. And if that's in the official track listing, it doesn't change anything except for she kind of mutes herself a little bit during the chorus, and instead of saying things like heroin, she says other things. And so I understand why it exists for the radio, it makes sense, but I don't understand why it's on the standard edition. And maybe it's not on the CDs, but at least on the MP3, that just seems kind of redundant. But I'm trying to not let that hold back from the review because obviously it was just to release the radio edit, so there's a more appropriate version. I'm not really taking off, it's more just a little nitpick thing. But of course, it was of my least favorite song on the whole album. She Loves Control is an excellent example of her using her heritage very well because it does have that Latin influence. And a lot of these songs do, and I actually do really enjoy that because it is very interesting to see. Now, yes, some of the songs, some popular music has been using that reggaeton sound, which is popular, and a lot of the songs on this album do have similar sounds to things such as Despacito. And yes, it is popular right now, so it is still following a trend, but it is kind of refreshing because it is someone who's still using pop and traditional pop sounds with that reggaeton sound. So it is refreshing to see, and that song is even produced by Skrillex, and honestly, it's hardly noticeable just because it is very, very Latin sounding, and so it is very interesting to see his production. There's just a little little applaud to him, because it is very interesting and very different from what you'd expect from him. But honestly, I do really enjoy that song, and I do really enjoy whenever she mixes in those sounds with her music, because it's obviously very authentic for her, and I do like that. I do like that it's involved in her music. Now, this album is actually really diverse musically. I do think there's a lot of different sounds, from a little more islandy beach sounds to that reggaeton sound, to just traditional pop. And so it is very diverse, but it's also so bland. Yeah, it's diverse, and obviously that takes away from some of its blandness, but the lyrics, it's not even at the lyrics, it's just everything is very cut and paste. It just sounds like very unoriginal, and while it is diverse and kind of refreshing with some of the songs, I will admit, are absolutely great. They are really good songs. She Loves Control, Consequences, those are actually songs I really enjoy. But a lot of the songs do just sound very formulaic and very bland. It's just kind of right off pop. And while I did say some of the songs weren't, yes, a lot of these songs are pretty decent, and I wouldn't say that they're all right off pop. Some of them are, and it is just very cut and paste with some of these songs. But still, this has more merit than Fifth Harmony, I feel, just because a lot of this is still very original and diverse in certain songs. Original not being original thoughts, but it's just very refreshing for the sound that we're currently hearing in pop music. I honestly do like some of these songs, but some of them are just cut and paste and kind of bland. One of the best songs on the album is Consequences, like I was saying. It's absolutely beautiful. Her voice actually really well complements that piano sound, and it really is a good song. Yes, obviously not the most original lyrics, and while I haven't touched on the lyrics are pretty unoffensive. There's some lyrics that are either bad or just okay, but for the most part, it's not much to talk about. They're fine. I do hold it back, honestly, because I do think that there could have been more done, but also as a pop artist, I'm not too offended by this. I didn't expect more, really. So while it does still get a point off because we have to hold our artists accountable, I didn't really expect too much more than this. And honestly, for what I expected, I would say that this surpassed it. So honestly, in my rating and in everything I'm saying, I'm just making the statement. Pretty much it balances out, and the lyrics don't really help or hurt it. It's just knocked out, honestly. But honestly, Consequences, like I was saying, sorry for this small tangent, it is one of the best songs. It is one of the songs I wish had been released as a single, because I honestly think that this song will be a pretty big one for her. It will probably be the one non-single wise that will be pretty popular, and if she did release another single, it would be this one. I don't have much else to say. A lot of people know Havana. Havana's her popular song. I think it's okay. I do like the instrumentation. I like when the trumpet comes in. I like the piano because it is really catchy, and it doesn't really talk about anything that's too interesting to me, and kind of gets repetitive. But it's fine. It's unoffensive enough, and if it worked for her, good on her. Overall, this is just a semi-bland pop album, but yet it's still diverse. It's a very weird one for me to review, because I feel like it is a little confusing, just because, yeah, it is a little bland, I'm not gonna lie. It does have some bland points, but also yet I'm saying it's original and diverse, and so it is a hard one to review, just because some songs, about half the album is completely just a cut and paste from other random pop cliches, and yet the other half is actually pretty interesting, and I actually do enjoy it. It's got some low points, it's got some high points. It really is a hard one for me to review, just because it is such a strange thing, but honestly, regardless, I was rather surprised. I assumed that this would be, when I first went into it, maybe 4 or 5 rating. Honestly, I am gonna go a little higher, and I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot. What did you guys think of this album? Were you surprised, or were you let down by this album? Please let me know down in the comments below. It really means a lot that you guys checked out my video. Please tell me if there's any albums that you'd like me to review in the future, because I got a lot of albums coming out, and sometimes I have to decide between one or the other. So please let me know if there's any specific ones that you'd like me to check out. Besides that, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys later.